Hey friends, welcome to Let's Talk Context Live. I'm Ethleen, and this is episode 16, which is really cool. So if you've been following us for the last few weeks, you know that there have been some changes on the platform, and we're almost ready to announce some more really good news, but things are not quite settled yet. But very, very soon. Soon we'll be able to announce some of the other things that are available to you, our friends and our followers online, to help you improve your English, gain fluency, and all that really good stuff. So I wanted to start with around the world. And I want to talk about two things for around the world today. The first thing is that recently the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, known as ICE, it was announced that they would begin enforcing, or they may begin enforcing, this whole rule about deporting international students whose schools in the fall will be online only. And it's frustrating because there are a lot of international students who come here. Many universities, actually a vast majority of the funding they receive, the money they get, comes from international students. And I've said before in a previous live, the international students pay a lot of money to come to school here. Many of them either come out of pocket, their parents pay or their families pay, or they're sponsored by companies, governments to come to learn. And so when international students are not able to study in the US, the universities feel it financially, economically, and I think it just causes a problem for education globally. We know that globalization is something that's not going away. You know, countries are interconnected, governments are interconnected, all of that. And this is how our economy works now. And so depriving international students of the ability to stay in the US, to get educated, to be absorbed in the culture, because that's what they're paying for. They're not just paying to come and sit in an American classroom. They're paying to come be part of the culture, be in that atmosphere, that environment. And I think it's just really sad that that will potentially be taken away from them, because I've worked with international students who have tried to get their visa interviews or have gotten their visa interviews to come here to study. And it's like their lives are changed forever being able to come here. And it's an experience. The college experience is one that it's great if everyone has that opportunity. But when you get that opportunity, it's like your whole worldview, your perspective changes. And I think it's a shame that they will be deprived of that if they get deported. The topic that I wanted to talk about for around the world, back in February or earlier in the year, there was news about all these rapes happening, and specifically in Kenya. And it's frustrating every time I hear about women specifically getting raped, because rape culture, it just plagues the world. And there's arguments about, well, women shouldn't dress this way, but there aren't conversations about how men need to control themselves. And we won't get into all of that, but I wanted to talk specifically about a BBC article that I read from February 26th, that a Kenyan university sent a memo that basically blamed female rape victims, calling them reckless, and that was why they were raped. So they were being reckless, and that was the reason they ended up getting raped. And oh my goodness gracious, guys, if you know me, if we've ever had a conversation, that just, my blood started to boil, because the discussion is always that women are doing something wrong. And along the way, throughout the years, women have tried to say, don't shame me because of my body. Don't shame me because of the way that I dress. And I won't get into it too much, but hearing that this university sent a memo, an official memo, calling these women who were victims reckless, and not addressing the fact that the perpetrator, the one who committed the rape, not talking about them and what their issues were, I thought that was very reckless of the university. That's around the world. Okay, so let's talk about it. There is a question. So many people, I go on forums, I talk to people, my clients, friends, and everybody wants to know, okay, Ethleen, you teach English. What is an easy way to learn English? I get this question so many times, and my answer is always the same. There is no easy way. So if someone ever comes to you and says they have an easy way for you to learn English, I would take that with a grain of salt because it's a language. There are nuances, there are little things, there's jargon, there's slang that is part of that language that makes that language what it is. And there is no easy way to learn that language. If you are not in that country to learn that language simply by existing and going to work and school and all of that, there is no easy way to learn a language. So if someone tells you there's an easy way, don't believe it. But there are things you can do to gain fluency to eventually master a language. This requires a lot of discipline and practice. Practice, practice, practice. One thing I recommend, highly, highly recommend, if you are able to carve out a specific time in your day where it's devoted to that language. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is that you have, and function and operate in that language. If it means talking to yourself, then talk to yourself. If it means writing a journal entry, then do that. Or a blog or a podcast that no one listens to but yourself, do it. Do whatever you need to do to have time in your day to operate in that language. Don't be concerned so much about if you're correct, if everything is 100% correct, if your pronunciation is perfect. That's not the objective. The objective is just to get you speaking or doing something in that language. The other thing that I love, and I tell my students all the time, learn the structure. Pay attention to structure. There are tons of accounts on social media that will give you like a word of the day. We do it. We do a word of the day Monday through Saturday. And on Sunday, we do, not Sunday, on Saturday nights, we do a vocab review. And sometimes I'll comment, pay attention to structure. Go back to the word of the day lesson and look at the structure of the sample sentences. Because learning a language is not just about learning words. And I feel like a resounding gong. A resounding gong is like an instrument, a gong that just keeps making its noise. It keeps vibrating. I feel like a resounding gong because I feel like I say the same thing over and over. But look at how that word is used. And if you are struggling to understand how that word is used from like our account, let's say from Speak Right Play's Twitter account, then go to Merriam-Webster dictionary, see the sample sentences they provide. Go to another dictionary, see the sample sentences they provide, and then take all of that knowledge that you've acquired and see if you can understand how to use that term. Look at the prepositions, look at the words around the term. That's how you will really understand and master. We have exercises that we do with my clients. There was an exercise that we used to do on social media. We don't do it anymore because it's now moved to Patreon. But that exercise in particular, it helps you pay attention to the way words are used in sentences. And I think if you learn structure and understanding how words are used more than just what words are used, then that will help you tremendously. That's the reason why I started this channel, Let's Talk Context, understanding American English idioms, phrasal verbs, and expressions. Because the truth be told, there are so many phrases in the English language, but if you don't know how and when to use the phrase, then you're just learning a bunch of phrases. I saw that recently on Instagram. There was a phrase that an account used, and I'm thinking to myself, the meaning that they gave for that phrase was not accurate. And I see it often when I'm on Instagram in particular. And so students are thinking if they learn this phrase, then they can just use this phrase interchangeably to mean this. And that's not necessarily true. It's more important to learn when to use the phrase and how to use the phrase, the situation, the context, than it is to try to associate that specific phrase with a meaning. Because otherwise, you're going to get native speakers looking at you like, I don't understand. So I think definitely if you're trying to learn English, if you're trying to master it, not necessarily if you're at the beginner level, but if you're definitely upper intermediate to advanced and you're trying to master the language, structure is your best friend. Understanding how and when to use words is the key. So that's my little tip whenever I hear someone say, what's an easy way to learn English? All right, so last week, if you watched the live stream, I talked about how we are doing a giveaway. I can't call it a giveaway, actually. It has to be called a contest because of the structure of giveaways versus contests. So it's the Speak Right Play Word of the Day contest. And we're going to have 2 winners. And each winner will receive a $25 gift card. And basically, I'm going to discuss our word of the day. And without using any resources outside of this video and your brain, your task is to write a sentence using the word of the day in the comment section below. If you write at least 10 sentences for 10 videos, you will be then entered, you will be considered to be a winner. And what I've done is I've asked some of my friends to come along and assist in judging. So towards the end of September, in the beginning of October, we'll have judges and we'll do this whole fun interactive kind of thing to find out who the winners will be. So our word of the day today is dual. And dual is an adjective and it means made up of or having to do with parts, specifically 2 parts. So when you think about dual, duality, when you hear that word, D-U-A-L, it's 2, right? You hear duo, when you talk about a duo, it's 2 people. So those are kind of words in that family. Again, dual, D-U-A-L, duo, D-U-O, and duality, D-U-A-L-I-T-Y. And so I can say this brush serves a dual purpose. So it's not just a brush for my hair, but maybe it also does something else. It detangles, maybe. No. Let's say the brush detangles and it also, I don't know, straightens my hair. So it serves a dual purpose. It has 2 functions, basically. Okay? So that's our show for today. That's Let's Talk Context Live for today. If you want to participate in the giveaway, please leave your sentence below. Only 1 sentence. You're welcome to write more than 1 sentence for your own edification, but I will only look at your first sentence. Be sure to follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram at Speak Right Play, Facebook, Speak Right Play English, and Patreon, Speak Right Play. I am so excited about what's coming up for this quarter, and I hope I'll see you soon. Be sure to subscribe. Bye.